Welcome everyone to the kickoff of the business activities of your KTEs. I'm Petri and I work as a project manager for Herme Business Development, and will be the business mentor for the manufacturing SMEs and the tech suppliers of all the KTEs, and responsible for the scale-up tasks of the KTEs. Maybe just shortly about our company. So we're located in Finland, and as a company, our main activities concentrate on business development of companies, growth, development, and internationalization funding of companies, and also helping companies with their international activities and operations, and getting to new markets. So in my part of the presentation, I'll first go quickly through what the KTE's business mentoring includes on general level. Then we'll have a look at the task 5 of the individual mentoring plan, which is the business scale-up task. Then I'll shortly present the business plan templates we've prepared for you. There's one for the manufacturing SME and one for the tech supplier of the KTEs. And in the end, we'll have a look to the next steps. Well, actually the first steps for you regarding the business side of your KTEs. So yeah, as I already mentioned, we'll be, as Herme Business Development, the mentor for the manufacturing SMEs and tech suppliers of the consortiums. And then Innova will be responsible for the business mentoring of the artists. And they'll have the second half of this 1-hour session to present their part for the artists. So basically, the business mentoring will go pretty much in the same way as your technical mentoring and art mentoring so far. So first, of course, we want to have a good understanding of what your aim is to achieve with your KTEs and guide the work from the business perspective. Then, when needed, we'll be having mentoring sessions with you. So one-on-one with the KTEs, individual KTEs, based on the needs of your KTEs and what you are requiring of us. Some of the work is, of course, compulsory, as we also need to describe it in our deliverables to the commission. But in many cases, the work will be strongly related to the needs of each of your KTEs. So in the individual mentoring sessions, we can have a more deeper look into what you really need in your KTEs or as a companies. And also, there is in the individual mentoring plan schedule a common business scale-up webinar for all the KTEs in month 10 from both our side and Innova's side. And here I've just listed some of the possible things that we can give the support for the KTEs based on your needs and what you are trying to achieve with the results of your KTEs. Then let's have a look at the actual task 5 of the individual mentoring plan regarding the scale-up. So the 3 main objectives of the task are to develop the business plans for the manufacturing SME and the tech supplier. And also originally, there was another objective for the manufacturing SME regarding the development of the automation roadmap on RAMP. But as the tool on RAMP is not yet developed and ready and implemented there, we decided for now to include the automation roadmap in a bit more compact form into the business plan itself for the manufacturing SMEs, where the issues actually here we have about the the automation roadmap, so where these issues can be described and the possible solutions for these. So the task 5.1 is the one that will not for now be done on the RAMP platform, but rather implemented into the business plan of the manufacturing SME. Then the other task for the manufacturing SME is the development of the business plan, as said earlier, with the help and support from us and the artist in order to launch the individualized or customized new products, and also to look into what is needed for the company in terms of further development or some implementation of new machinery or robots or whatever else investments might be needed, and also the funding needs regarding this to succeed in these. And for the technology supplier, the tasks are to develop the business plan, concentrating on the offering through RAMP. So I have a bit more instructions about this in the business plan template for the technology supplier, but the main things will be to come up with the value proposition and business model of your activities on RAMP. So how or what can you promise your new potential customers and how you could serve them with the help of RAMP IoT platform and the other services that are or will be included there in the coming months. And of course, the scale up and the commercialization of the KTE results for the tech supplier also. The other task for the tech supplier will be to invite 2 new manufacturing SMEs to RAMP and to prepare a proposal for them, for example, for the deployment of automation technologies on RAMP. So basically here the work with the value proposition and the business model is tightly related to succeeding in the second bullet of the task 5.3. And the last task for all is to provide us feedback, but this is handled by another partner of the consortium, so I won't go into more details with this. Okay, let me change the can you now see that Word document? Good.
Yes, better.
Okay, so let's then first have a quick look on the templates we have prepared for you. Once we've finalized these, we'll send them to you, and then in the first mentoring sessions, we can have a more deeper discussion about those with you and what and how you can do with those in regards of your needs in your KTEs. These are the templates to guide your work, but you can modify them in certain parts according to your needs, as long as the compulsory parts are there. And of course, we don't want you to make the business plans just because we ask it for you, but really hope that they will actually give you new ideas, help you to develop and grow your business. And I think especially for the manufacturing SMEs, the cost benefit analysis with all the calculations regarding the return on investment, whatever is included, will hopefully help you justify the investment in regards of business sustainability for you and your owners or financiers or so on. And of course, the business plans can in the end be utilized for looking for additional funding if needed for either the investments or the scale up of your products or new services or solutions coming from the KTEs. So I think I'll just quickly scroll through this. Doesn't really make sense to now start the discussion with all of us here, so it's better to have the discussions one-on-one. But for the manufacturing SME, the first thing here we have is an executive summary of the company. So what the company is, the business idea, what's the customer need, your customers, what's the offer solution for them, and how you offer it to your customers. So what's your business model? So just to give a quick idea of what your company is about. And then here you can have a little bit more background info of your company, owners, growth vision, etc. Then about the markets and market needs. So here, I think it's especially good to concentrate on the things that are related to the KTEs. So what are the new markets, expected changes, with the help of the work you've been doing in the KTEs or will be doing in the KTEs. There are some new markets you aim for thanks to the results of the KTEs and so on. And also here you can do kind of mirroring your business to the trends ongoing in let's say globally or nationally or whatever is the scale for you. Then products, services, solutions. So what your company offers, what's the customer need for these, and of course here also concentrate on the results of the KTEs. So what's new or what will be new if you succeed in the KTE, or in the future if you need to do some further development work or some full-scale implementation, additional full-scale implementation to the factory. And then competition, competitive advantages, and here again also take into consideration the KTEs and their results. And just shortly about the strategic objectives of your company and what you need to do in order to succeed in these objectives. And then coming to the business case of the actual knowledge transfer experiment. So here it's very important for us especially to know what the aims and expected results and benefits you expect to gain from the KTEs. What are the apps that you're going to be using, other services you can use through RAMP, and what's their benefits for your company. So these are also something that I'm sure the Commission is really eager to see and hear from us, what we've been doing with you. And then I think I will be expanding this a little bit. So basically this will be considering also the automation roadmap or the development roadmap for your company. So I'll be writing some additional instructions to this part, but anyways, it's concentrating on the next phases of your company's needed development. What are the plans? What are the expected goals, needed resources, investments, and so on. Then we have the cost benefit analysis of the KTEs and their results. Here we can have the return on investment calculations, payback times, other financial calculations you see relevant. What are the needed resources for the full-scale implementation or the investments needed for that? What apps will be used? What are the benefits of these for your company and business in terms of, let's say, business sustainability, and if there's something else. And this is something that we were talking, and it would be nice to have your initial initial ideas and calculations already for the first midterm evaluation that's going to be held in May. And then some words about the funding needs and possible funding sources to implement. I don't know if the full-scale system is correct here, but anyways, whatever you need to do in your factory or with the products or with the machinery in order to achieve the goals you've set for yourself, and where the money will be coming from. And then just what risks there will be. I can give here also some examples and how to do the risk table and how to manage the risks. Then quickly, let's have a look. The correct one. I think you can now see that D5.3. Good. So yeah, basically the same idea here. Here I've written already a little bit more instructions. You can read these and we can then discuss these in the one-on-one sessions. But basically the idea is pretty much the same. So we hope this business plan will help you think of new ways to improve your company, how to scale up the results coming from the KTEs, and so on. So here, I think the emphasis has been maybe a little bit more on the scale up, because it's for the technology supplier. So for example, if the technology supplier might see that they need some additional funding from some investors or bank loans or something like that to expand the results coming out of the scale up. So this may be a bit more also aimed for the possible financiers. But of course, as said, with the manufacturing SMEs business plan template, here you can also make changes and adjust the template according to your needs. And also here, of course, it would be good or will be good to have the emphasis on the KTE results, success stories coming out of the KTE, how you can make use of the success story, how you can make use of the success story to get new customers and to serve them through RAMP, through the RAMP IoT platform and so on. Yep, nothing new here. So again, the product, services, solutions, what are the further development needs after the KTE has ended? Sales and marketing. So do you think that there might be some new pricing models you could make use of when thinking of doing business through RAMP, sales and marketing strategy, and then the RAMP marketplace value proposition and business model? And this is also something that we were thinking that this would be good to have an initial plan for already the May's midterm evaluation. So we can start, we can have an initial idea what you've been thinking and then start working on that based on our expectations, based on the results you're seeing, based on how you're working with the SME on RAMP and so on. Then a bit more going into a bit more detail in the business targets. So again, the strategic objectives, success factors, other key actions or development projects that you think might be needed to be taken. What are your financial targets, budget, funding plan to achieve the objectives you've set for yourself? And the last thing, the risk analysis again. And then to finish my presentation, actually, as already I mentioned, we'll now be starting to schedule the first one-on-one mentorings with all of the KTEs. And for the midterm evaluation in May, it would be good to get all of the manufacturing SMEs and tech suppliers working on the business plans and have the first initial cost benefit analysis from the manufacturing SME side to present in the midterm evaluation, and for the tech supplier have the initial plan on how to achieve the goal of bringing the new SMEs outside of the ramp or from outside into ramp, and show how you could solve their problems. Yeah, that's it for me. So now if you have any questions, I can answer now, but as said, I think the more deeper discussions might be good to be held one-on-one with all the KTEs, but please go.
Can you see the full presentation, Walt?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, okay, perfect. Okay, now following the presentations, just before, now we'll be presenting, Innova will be presenting this business part more specifically to the artists. So me and Tanya, which both are mentoring the KTEs and also giving specific support on the artists on the business side. We'll be presenting two exercises that will be performed throughout the KTEs regarding the business activities. And following the Patrice's presentations on the development on the business related activities for the technology supplier and for the SME, we will be now presenting the activities that the artists will be developing regarding the business on the KTEs, and this will be done mainly through two dynamic exercises. So even though that the artists will not be delivering a formal deliverable in the upcoming phase on the business, they will be collaborating and supporting with the technology suppliers and the SMEs on the KTE's business scale-up. So these are the two models that the artists will be developing with the support from Innova, the business model canvas and the value proposition canvas. These will be self-explanatory mappings, which I will be presenting the first one, and then Tanya will present the last one with the value proposition. Let me go forward. Okay, so just to make a contextualization on this business model. So over the last 20 years, business managers were focused on product innovation cycle. As nowadays, due to the highly competitive markets and abundant information, have placed the customers at the center of the business universe. Successful businesses are those that employ customer-centric thinking to identify customer priorities and construct business models to match them. So every business model design project is unique and presents its own challenges, obstacles, and critical success factors. Every business developer starts from a different point of view, at its own context and objectives, and when it begins addressing an issue that is fundamental to its business model. So also the selection of this sentence by Michael Porter is also to show that to have a competitive advantage in a business, it's key to have a unique mix of value. So starting from the business model canvas that you probably are aware and may already have used to define your strategy, either from a company level or a more specific product or service that you have implemented before. So this business model is a set of structural business choices that together deliver high utility to the customer and high value to the shareholder. It is also visual, one-page chart, which elements describing the overall business approach, activities, relationships, and finances. This following slide shows the mapping of the business model canvas to clearly have a better understanding on how the business model is structured. So this canvas is shared language for describing, visualizing, assessing, and changing the business models. It describes the rationale and how entities creates, deliver, and captures the value. The business model canvas is composed by 9 main blocks: key activities, value proposition, customer relationship, customer segments, revenue streams, channels, key resources, costs, and key partners. So we can actually put in one picture a clear strategy for a product or service to be implemented and launched to the market. Explaining all the relationships that we'll have with the different stakeholders in the market. So one by one, I'll be presenting the 9 blocks, starting from the customer segments. So the customers comprise the heart of any business model, as without profitable customers, no company can survive for long. A conscious decision about which segments to serve and which segments to ignore, it's to be identified in this block. Once the decision is made, a business model can be carefully designed around a strong understanding of specific customer needs. Following the value proposition, it seeks to solve the customer problems as justify customer needs with value propositions. Each value proposition consists of selected bundle of products and or services that can cater to the requirements of a specific customer segment. In this sense, the value proposition is an aggregation of bundle or benefits that is offered to the customers, and this will also be broken down into the following canvas that will be explained by Tanya. Next is the channels, where the value propositions are delivered to customers through communication, distribution, and sales channels. So in here, it is expected that the KTEs, or in the case the artists, will be reflecting which channels the customers will be, or which channels it will be used to reach the customers. Channels can serve to raise awareness among customers about a product or a service and help them to evaluate the products of the values proposition and provide a continuous support by allowing them to make their decision on purchasing the products. Also to support the continuous delivering of that value proposition, and also to post-purchase customer support during the business after the purchase. The following one is the customer relationships, and in here the type of relationships to be established and maintained with each customer segment are identified. The customer relationships can be driven by customer acquisition, customer retention, and boosting sales. Regarding the revenue streams result from the value proposition successfully offered to customers. These revenues may come through selling ownership rights to a physical product, the use of a particular service. The more a service is used, the more the customer pays. Can also be through subscription fees, lending, renting, leasing, by granting the exclusive rights to use a particular asset for a fixed period in a return for a fee, also through licensing, through the permission to use protected intellectual property in exchange for licensing fees. Brokerage fees it can also be an option, as well through advertising. So there are different ways to generate revenue streams for the products and or services. And for the ones expected from the KTEs should be identified here in this block. The key resources, which are the assets required to offer and deliver the previously described elements. Key resources can be physical, financial, intellectual, or human. Key resources can be also owned or leased by the artist or acquired from any of the key partners. Then the key activities. The most important thing is to develop and maintain the operations of any business, and these main activities are to be described as they're required to create and offer a certain value proposition to reach the markets and maintain the customer relationship. So all the blocks, as you can see, are pretty much related. So the key activities can be categorized as production, designing, making, and delivering a product in substantial quantities or in a superior quality. Problem solving by coming up with new solutions on individual customer problems. And finally, through platform network by providing and maintaining an online tool. The following one, the key partners, which is to describe partnerships or alliances to optimize their business models, also used to reduce risks or acquire new resources. We can distinguish between 4 different types of partnerships. These can be strategic alliance between non-competitors, co-opetition with the strategic partnerships between competitors, joint ventures, and also buyer-supply relationships to assure a reliable supplies. And finally, the cost structure, which in constructs to the revenue streams. In here, it are described all the costs related to the other blocks of the business model canvas. So the costs should be minimized in every business model, but low cost structures are more important to some business than to others. So it depends really on the nature on the product of the product. Therefore, it can be useful to distinguish between 2 broad classes of business models, which could be cost-driven and value-driven. There are also different categories in the cost structures, which we will have fixed costs, variable costs, economies of scales, and economies of scope. I will not go into much detail, but rather to prefer than to discuss with you after we have a clear picture on the business models, because as this one is saved for last, and is dependent on all the activities, relationships that are linked to the other blocks. This cost structure should be saved then to the end, and to make then a balance to check how on what will be the cost for this specific product or service in the respect of the KTE. Then it will this slide shows the business model canvas in relationship with the three key aspects of the business model. When we complete this filling, this mapping, actually, we can demonstrate that the business structure, that the business strategy is feasible by demonstrating the ability to implement the products and to operate in the market. Desirability, it will be showing that this specific product will be reaching and addressing the right problem or need in the market, or at least to the customer segments that we are mainly addressing. And the viability, the means to sustain of the business, must be demonstrated. If we'll be able then to demonstrate these three factors, it will mean that the product or service has innovation, where uniqueness is the key to develop a strong and desired business model. And so if we find uniqueness, we will reach innovation. And this was the what I had to show for you regarding the business model canvas. Of course, then we could discuss in more particularly with artists and also with other members the designing for this canvas. While the value proposition will be now particularly addressed in the value proposition canvas by my colleague Tanya. Thank you.
Yes.
So as Marco said, I will show you this value proposition canvas, a short introduction to this canvas. I believe that some of you already know this canvas, but well, we can discuss this in a deep way when we organize these meetings focused on the business side of your KTEs. And for the ones that do not know me, my name is Tânia Moreira. I also work at Innova, and in the last few years, I have been working in STARS-related projects and supporting and monitoring artists and other entities in delivering residencies and collaboration works. For the next slide. Okay. So this value proposition canvas, it comes from the business canvas that Marco already showed you, and it is focused on two specific boxes in the business canvas: the value proposition, and the other one is the customer segments. And then what this value proposition do is to detail these two boxes in a deeper way. But well, what are the benefits of this proposition canvas? We think that by filling this proposition canvas, you will be able to organize the information about what are your customers or target needs or their wishes. So this canvas pushes you to organize this kind of information in a simple manner. This canvas also supports you to create in a simple and a common language, or better, to create in a simple and a common language the ideas and share them between the different members of your team. And also it impels you, it forces you to select the most relevant solutions to run successfully your business or activity by asking you to identify some things and to divide those things among different boxes. This canvas forces you to make these choices and these selections. And now passing to present in more detail the different boxes composing this value proposition canvas, we can see that in one side, in red or orange, we see three main boxes, and concerning the game creators, pain relievers, and products and services. And this side is more related to your organization, to the description of your organization characteristics. And the other side, the customer segments, it's about your targets or customers' characteristics. So by combining these two sides, what we will do is to find a way or to clearly have an idea how your company is answering your customers' needs, and if you are covering the most relevant needs of your customers. But let's present this in more detail. Concerning these products and services from the value proposition sides, what this canvas asks you to do is to list what your organization or entity is offering, what are your services or products, what you do to answer the customer's needs. Then the pain relievers, in this canvas, the objective is to describe how your products and the services alleviate the customers, the authors call it pains, but actually they are the difficulties, the wishes, how your products answer this, how they address this part of the customers. Then finally, the game creators. What are these game creators? In this box, what is intended is to describe how your products and services create benefits for your customers, how your products and services benefit, create gains, advantages for the customers. Then going for the customer segment side, the first box, the customer's jobs. They call it customer jobs, but actually what you are supposed to do in this box is not only to describe the jobs of your customers, of course, to describe the needs from the jobs, but also to address other kind of needs from the target groups. So in this box, you shall describe the customers' wishes, problems, or needs in their work life, but also in their private life. You can imagine what kind of needs the customers could have to perform their work, their profession, but also in their private life. What kind of needs they face in a daily basis. Then the customer pains. In this box, you shall try to figure out what are the pains of your customers. What are what kind of undesired costs and situations, and also risks they face every day to satisfy their wishes, or to successfully achieve that. And then finally the gains. What kind of gains these customers would like to have. So in this box, what is intended is to describe the benefits your customer expects, their desires, or also things that would surprise the customers, things that they even imagined to have. So in a very brief way, these are the main points for these two schemes, for the value proposition canvas. And I would like to finish the presentation with some good practices and also some common mistakes that people commit when filling these schemes. Starting from the good practices, it's good to prioritize. We always need to have this in mind, to prioritize, to quantify, also to measure levels of severity and relevance. We need always to have this measurement in mind also. Be clear and concrete as possible. And this, of course, this is linked to the other aspects, to the quantification. Be clear and concrete. It's really crucial to, for instance, to create the common language between the team members. Also have the customers and the target needs aligned with those needs. And of course, consider the customers and targets' perception of success. always having what the customers are expecting. Also have the competitors under the eye and try to differentiate from them and select solutions that are hard to copy. So this to keep the difference between from your competitors. On the other side, the common mistakes is to being too vague. It's not. It will not support you in testing your value proposition canvas, being too vague. Also, mixing several customer segments into one profile. So the thing is that for each customer segment, it is good to create only one proposition canvas, not mixing the customers or the target groups in one single proposition canvas. And also trying to alleviate every pain and target every gain. So again, the prioritization, the measurement of the relevance of the things, it's really critical in this aspect. Listing customers' needs with your value proposition in mind. What this means is that we shall try to see the customer's view and not mix with our own view, because it can be confusing. And also mixing presently existing and future ideas. So it's good to have in mind what you currently have and not mix with your idealistic perspective of your organization. And of course, the final one, it's not testing in real life the ideas that you have identified in the canvas. So passing from the paper to the action, and the canvas just becomes something that is in the paper and not something useful for you. And with this, I finish the presentation, and I back to Marco, of course, but also I launch this question and answers session.